Hi, good morning. Today we are going to discuss about the topic Java applets. In this session, we will see the different methods that are invoked during the lifecycle of an applet. We will also see how we can create and run an applet program. So what is an applet? An applet is a small Java program that is embedded inside a web. It is automatically installed and run as part of a web document. These applets, they interact with the user through AWT. AWT stands for Abstract Window Toolkit or Abstract Windowing Toolkit. When we create an program using an applet class, we need to import two main packages, java.applet.star and java.awt.star. So inside this java.applet package, we have a built-in class called applet class. So using this class, so every applet that we create must be a subclass of this built-in class applet. Applets are not standalone programs. That means applets cannot run independently. So they can run either within a Java-enabled web browser, or we can run it using an applet viewer tool. Now let us see some of the important methods that are called during an applet lifecycle. The methods are init, start, paint, stop, and destroy. As we can see here that there is no main method. As in a normal Java program, execution starts at the main method. Whereas in case of an applet program, the execution does not start at the main program. The applet viewer will call this init method first. So this is the first method which gets called automatically. In this init method, we will perform any kind of initialization. Init method will call start method. This method is called when we start an applet or when we resume our execution. Paint method is used if we want to draw any kind of objects to the applet container. Stop method is called when we minimize our applet or when we return minimize our applet or when we move from the tab containing the applet. So that means when we suspend our execution, the stop method will get called. So when we resume our execution, the start method will be called. Finally, our destroy method. Destroy method is called when we close an applet. So before stop method would be called before calling this destroy method. So these are the different methods that are available in our applet class. Only some of the methods that are available in applet class. In our next slide, we will see the method signatures that are of all these methods. So these are the different method signatures of the methods that we have already seen. First method is init. You can see the method signature as public void init. For all these methods, we can see that the access modifier is public because these classes may be accessed outside this package. These methods are accessed outside the package. Public void. Void means the return type is void. They return nothing. So the return type is void. Init method, any kind of variable initialization is done in the init method. Start method is called when we start or resume our execution. Paint method, we can see here that inside this paint method we are passing an object of graphics class. Graphics class is a class which is available in AWT package, java.awt package. So using this graphics class, there are different methods that are available in this graphics class. So using these methods, we can draw various objects inside that applet container. Stop method is called when we minimize or leave an applet, and finally destroy method is called when we close an applet. So this init method and destroy method will be called only once, whereas start, paint and stop methods will be called any number of times. We will next see the different life cycle of an applet. So applet life cycle consists of 4 main stages. They are born, running, idle and dead. So when the applet viewer first calls the init method, the applet is born. So when it calls the start method, it moves to the running state. When it calls the paint method, it resumes in the running state. It continues in the running state. Now, when we minimize an applet or when we leave an applet, it will call the stop method and moves to the idle state. So, from here, if we resume our execution, it will again call the start method and continues into running state, or either if we close our applet, it will first call the stop method, moves to the idle state. From there, it will call the destroy method, and finally our applet has reached the dead state. So these are the 4 stages of an applet life cycle. Next, we will see how applets are created and how we can execute this applet. As we have already discussed, there are 2 ways in which we can execute an applet, either by using a Java-enabled web browser or by using an applet viewer. It is Sun's tool, a standard tool called as applet viewer. This Java-enabled web browser, it is no longer supported by most of the browsers. So in this session, we will see how we can execute an applet using an applet viewer tool. So either this can be done using 2 cases. Either we can have a single Java source file in which we can embed our applet code, or we can maintain 2 separate files, one Java file and another HTML file. So as a normal Java program, we need to compile and run this program. The command for compiling is javac program name .java. So if we are maintaining a single Java source file, we need to run, the command for running is applet viewer program name .java. If we have maintained a separate HTML file, we need to run it using this command, applet viewer HTML file name .html, the file name of the HTML. So this is the way we need to compile and run our applet program. Next, we will see our first applet program example. So we have named this program as welcome.java. So as we have already discussed, we need to import 2 main packages, import java.awt.star, import java.applet.star. Next, our class signature, public class welcome extends applet. So this is the name of my class. I have declared it as public. Why? Because it will be accessed outside this package. And why I have used this extends keyword? Because every applet class must be a subclass of the built-in applet class. So how we can create a subclass? By using this extends keyword. So public class welcome extends applet. I am creating an applet program which is named as welcome, which extends our built-in class applet. This applet is available in our package java.applet package. Okay. Now we have already seen there are different methods in an applet, and none of the methods we need not compulsorily override any of these methods. But here I have just used one of the method, that is paint, public void paint. I'm creating a passing object of this graphics class, graphics G, and this graphics class is having many methods, different methods. One of the method is drawString. So G.drawString means this method is used for displaying some string in the applet container. So G.drawString, within that parameter we will be passing 3 parameters. One string, the message that needs to be displayed, and the x and the y coordinates. So at 100th x location and at 50th y location, we need to display this message, welcome. Okay, so this is the end of the class, and you can see a piece of code that is commented. So this is the code, this is the tag that is used for embedding our Java class file to a HTML code. So applet is the code that is used. It consists of various attributes. 3 of the attributes are specified here. Code attribute, where we will specify the name of the class that we want to embed. Code equal to welcome.class. Why welcome.class? Because when we compile this program, my program name is welcome.java because my class is public. So when we compile this program, we will get a class file with the name welcome.class. So we need to specify that class name in this code attribute. Okay, either we can specify it as welcome.class or simply we can specify it as welcome. Clear? Width and height, it indicates the initial size of our applet window. So we will see, before running this program, we will see the screen coordinate system of an applet window. So width 300, height 200 means of width 300 and height 200, a window will be initialized. This can be resized later. So we will see the screen coordinate system before executing that program. We'll see the screen coordinate system of how this applet looks like. It is quite different from our normal mathematical XY coordinate system. Here you can see that the origin 0, 0 lies at the top left corner. Okay, so this horizontal direction towards right indicates the positive X direction, and this vertical direction towards bottom, it indicates positive Y direction. Now, in our previous example, we have asked to display some message at location 150. So how we can track that location? It moves 100 pixels to the right and 50 pixels down, and starting from this location, it will display that message. So everything, the notations are expressed in terms of pixels. Now we will see how we can run our previous example. So this is our program. We will see how we can run this program. Okay, our program name is welcome.java. So we need to first compile our program. Java C welcome.java. So got compiled. Now it will generate a class file with the name welcome.class. We have already embedded that class to our Java source file. Now we need to run it using applet viewer. Applet viewer welcome.java. So here is our applet. So this is the initial size of the applet that we have already specified, some 300 to 200, and it has specified a message called welcome at this location 150. The message got displayed. There are different buttons here. You can see we can minimize this applet. We can again resume this applet. We can resize it. We can maximize it. We can minimize it. Finally, we can close this applet. Once we close this applet, the final destroy method will be called and the applet is executed completely. So this is our first program. Next we will see how we can maintain two separate files, a Java file and an HTML file, and how we can execute that program. So here is another example, hello-world.java. In this example, you can see there is no applet code embedded here. It is same as our previous example, except that there is no applet code specified here. We need to import two packages, import java.awt.star, import java.applet.star. Our class is public. Also, it extends our built-in class applet. And one method is defined here, paint, public void paint graphics G, and it calls this method drawString, g.drawString hello world, and it will display that message at location 2020. So when we compile this program, we will get a class file with the name hello world.class. Now we need to embed that class in an HTML file. We are maintaining a separate HTML file. Let me name that file as hello-world.html. Okay, so this is the HTML code. Within the HTML tag, we have our body tag. Within that body tag, we are calling our applet tag. In this applet tag, we are specifying the code hello world. As I have already mentioned, you can either specify it as hello world.class or simply hello world. Width is equal to 300, height equal to 200. The same code. Only thing is, I have maintained two separate files, and the message this time it would display it as hello world. So this is the message that it is going to display at location 2020. Let us run this program. So our program name is hello world. So Java C hello world.java. Java C hello world.java. We need to compile this program. It is compiled successfully. Now we need to run our HTML file. Applet viewer hello world.html. I have given the same name for the HTML file. Just for easy reference, you can name this file with a different name. See, the applet has been displayed with the message hello world at location 2020. At location 2020, the message got displayed. So this is how we can create and run an applet. Either we can maintain a single source file, or we can maintain two separate files, a Java file with an additional HTML file. So this is how we can execute. We will see one more example, which will give us a clear idea about the method invocation during the life cycle of an applet. As we have already seen, there are 5 main methods that gets called during the life cycle of an applet. They are init, start, paint, stop, and destroy. So we have just added a statement like system.out.println so that this message will get printed in our console. And we can see we are not calling these methods. All these methods are invoked automatically. So we will see when and how these methods are getting called, and when we will get this output in our console. So this is the class java.applet.star. I am importing 2 packages. Then I have our applet code. This piece of code can be placed anywhere in our file. Either it can be placed at the beginning of the file, or as we have seen earlier, it can be placed at the end of the file, or after this import statement, we can place this code. By this command is when JavaC compiler, when it compiles this program, it will ignore comments as usual. Okay, but whereas our applet viewer will execute this piece of code. So here, when we compile this program, the class file name would be applet lifecycle.class. So that class name we need to add it in our applet code. Some width and height of the applet container has been specified here, and we are defining each of the method. Okay, first method is public void init. Here we are just printing an output like inside init, and it will be displayed in the console. So other methods, public void start. So when the start method is called automatically, this message will get printed in our console. Public void stop, a message is displayed as stopped. Public void destroy, this will be called only at the end when we close an applet. So that time it will display this message, destroyed. Now public void graphics, I have given 2 statements here. First statement will print the output to our console. The second statement, g.drawString, will print the output to our applet container. So let us run this program and see how the methods are getting invoked. So our program name is lifecycle.java. So JavaC, how to compile this program? JavaC lifecycle.java. Then using applet viewer, we need to run it. Applet viewer lifecycle.java. We can see that our applet has started. Okay, our applet has started, and it has printed that message which was given in our paint method. So by that time, it has called 3 methods here. This is our console output that we have specified. We can see the first method that get called is the init method, inside init, because that method got called. And it called the start method. So finally it called the paint method. After it had called this paint method, the message that we had displayed in our paint method got printed in our applet console. Now let us see what will happen if we minimize this applet. So if we minimize this applet, we are suspending that applet. So soon it will call the stop method. So I am going to minimize this applet. You can see it has called the stop method. So this is the message that we had given inside our stop method. Now when we resume our execution, again it will call the start method followed by the paint method. Okay, we have resumed our execution. So after this stop, it has again called the start method and it has again called the paint method. Now, what will happen if we press our close button? So it has to first call the stop method followed by the destroy method. So I'm going to close this applet. See? Once we had closed that applet, it has called the stop method. So only this message got displayed. Then it finally called the destroy method. So from this, we can get a clear idea about how the method invocation happens during the applet life cycle. Okay. So before winding up this session, I would like to show you one more demo of how we can display or draw different objects inside our applet container. Graphics class is having various methods. We have seen only one of the method, that is draw string. So other than this draw string method, we have many other methods. Only some of the methods we will be discussing it in this example. Okay, this is a graphics demo example. We have, as we know, we have imported the necessary packages. We have embedded our applet code. Then we have defined our class, public class, graphics demo. It extends applet class. Then we are defining the paint method. This we have already seen. G.drawString graphics demo 5050. That means using the default color, it will display this message at location 5050. Now if we want to change the color, we have another method called as setColor. So g.setColor, color.red. That means from here, whatever objects that I am drawing, it will be displayed in red color until it encounters another setColor function. Okay, then I am just displaying another message, g.drawString rectangle 50 100. So this message would be displayed in rectangle, would be displayed in red color at this location 50 100. Now other than drawing string, we can we have different other methods like draw line, draw rect, draw oval, some of them are fill rect, fill oval. There are different methods, only few of them are listed here. So again I am setting this color to blue. G.setColor, color.blue. Again, G.fillRect. Sorry, here we have one method called as G.drawRect. We have 4 parameters here. 50, 150 means starting from that location. Starting location is 50, 150. For a rectangle, the top left position is specified here, 50, 150. Now, the next 2 parameters indicates the length and breadth of that rectangle. If we specify it as say 30, 30, it will draw a square. So if we specify a different parameter, then it will be displayed as a rectangle. So for displaying a square, also we will use the same method, draw rect. So this is used for displaying a rectangle. This method is used for creating a rectangle and fill it with one color. So before calling this method, I have changed the color to blue. So this will draw a rectangle filled with the color blue. G.fillRectangle at 50 to 100. It will display this is a square because the parameter, the x and y, the length and breadth coordinates are same. So it will display a square, filled square with blue color. Now again we are changing the color to green and then we are drawing an oval at location 50 to 50. We are, this is the horizontal and the vertical, the diameter location. Here since it is of same value, this draw oval will draw a circle. If it is different, then it will draw any kind of oval shape can be drawn using that method. So let us run this example and see how the output looks like. Our class name is graphicsdemo.java. So we need to compile it using javac graphicsdemo.java. And we need to run it using applet viewer graphicsdemo.java. So this is how we can add different objects to the applet container. As per our program, we have displayed our string, a message called graphics demo. It has been displayed in the default color that is available there. Then we have changed the color to red and we have displayed this message rectangle. Then we have drawn a rectangle. Then we have changed the color to blue and we have drawn a filled rectangle. It has come as filled square. Then we have changed the color to green and then we have drawn an oval. So this like this we can add any number of objects. There are so many methods available inside this graphics class. So with this I would like to conclude this session. Hope all of you have understood. Thank you.